introduce the president of the University of Tulsa, Stedman Upham.
Thank you very much, Bruce, and I echo everything that Bruce has said. What a wonderful gathering of champions, and what a wonderful time for the university. It's a pleasure for me to welcome you to the 2013 University of Tulsa Athletics Hall of Fame. To be honest with you, and I've said this at other venues, I never thought I would be here in the 2013. And you know what? I am thrilled to be back. This is an extraordinary time at the University of Tulsa, especially for TU athletics. We're really beginning a number of new chapters. We're welcoming a very distinguished new athletic director, Dr. Derek Gregg, who will be speaking in just a minute. We're wrapping up our last season in Conference USA and headed to the American Athletic Conference. We have dominated, and I don't mean to sound overly proud about this, but I'm damn proud. We have dominated Conference USA. We have had 49 championships in the last 4 years. That is double the number of our nearest competitors, and I just want to shout out to the coaches who have coached our student athletes, and to the student athletes. As Bruce just said, this is a difficult academic environment, and we expect a lot from the students in the classroom. But to have so many champions, it's clear that our coaches are doing the right thing. So let's give a round of applause to our coaches. This last year, we ended the Learfield Cup rankings. That's the rankings of all the athletic programs, D1 athletic programs based on championships. We ended 54th in the country out of 300 and some D1 programs. And the great thing about that is all our performances are subject to capture on digital media. We had 50 hours of national TV last year for our sports. And one of the great things about the American Athletic Conference is that our TV contracts expand our media coverage, and they expand them into the eastern part of the United States, who have still yet to understand that Oklahoma is a state in the Union. But let me just say that we draw our inspiration from the accomplishments of the individuals that have come before us. Nowhere is that more evident in our athletic program. We draw the inspiration from past champions, and we have champions here tonight. And it's a special evening, and I'd just like to congratulate all of the new Hall of Famers. You demonstrate that hard work and dedication is really the pathway to success, not only on the athletic field, but in your chosen careers and lives. So again, congratulations to all of our inductees. Congratulations to our coaches and to our athletic program and to our student athletes. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce our Vice President for Intercollegiate Athletics, Dr. Derek Gregg.
This is one of the few times I don't have to lift the microphone up when I'm behind Jim. I'm here to welcome you on behalf of the athletic department, and I've been here 4 months, and this is probably, I stopped counting, but it's about my 450th meeting, activity, speaking engagement, and some of my bosses are here, plus the one backstage. I am earning my paycheck, believe that, but I'm enjoying it. And this marks my 21st year in college athletics, and the 1991 team in particular, that was my last year of college football as well, and it's hard to believe that we were on campus about 25 years ago. So no matter what, guys, we're not old, so don't let anybody tell you that. Well, what I want to do is I want to recognize 3 special groups of people this evening, and I don't have time to read all the names, but the first group we have to recognize is the Hall of Fame committee, and I know Coach Tommy Hudspeth, who is the chairman, if he could stand, and all of the other nominating committee members, please stand and be recognized by this group, if you will. And Coach, you stay standing because the next group we're going to recognize is the past Hall of Famers who were here and the other honor team members who have been recognized in the past. If you could stand as well and be recognized. All of the other Hall of Famers here in the audience. And then, of course, last but not least, the new inductees this evening. And I just happened to be able to meet them backstage and take the pictures. I can tell you that they are first-class individuals, as you would expect. And looking forward again to seeing the 1991 guys being inducted as well. This is a fantastic place. I'm really excited about being your athletic director, and I'm looking forward to the future. So with that, again, thank you and welcome. Go TU.
Thank you, Dr. Gregg. Now let's introduce the 2013 Hall of Fame Honor Team with this.
For this team to go in to the Hall of Fame means a great deal to me. It's a special team. Every team is special. This was, one of the more special teams.
It means a lot as far as the guys are finally getting recognized. That was a great team.
I think it's important because guys like myself and Van Bitson have been able to get into the Hall of Fame, and we know how special it is.
What it means to me is a very special group of guys, like a brotherhood, like a fraternity of guys being recognized for a very emotional year.
What was special about the 91 team, I think it started with Coach Rader, and he actually brought us together, and we were a unit.
We had guys from East Texas country, downtown Dallas City, Pittsburgh, Alberta, Canada, Edmonton, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, right here in Tulsa. I mean, we've had guys from all over the United States and North America.
We were fighting against the odds. We had no conference. We had no league. Conferences were expanding. Nobody was calling us. But we had good people. We had good people. Man, we had good people. One of the highlights of the whole season that really brought our team together was a play when the Southwest Missouri game was in hand, and we were going to win the game, and Dan Bitson runs out onto the field, and we throw the ball to him.
Emotionally, it was just something that, I just remember for the rest of my life.
And Dan makes a catch and holds the ball up, and more or less says, "I'm back." That was a great moment. When TJ hit Brian Thompson in the south end zone against Oklahoma State, and the ball just went over the defender's hands, and Brian catches it for the touchdown. Some things are going to turn our way this year.
We always look at Oklahoma State being supposedly the bigger school, so supposedly they're supposed to be the better school. So for us to get over the hurdle was a huge confidence builder for us.
Everybody thought the game was over. I'm sure a lot of those guys across the way thought the game was over. But we had people in that locker room that believed that we could still come back.
People have asked me, in the A&M game, we were down 18 points at halftime. What did you say at halftime? Must have been just an enthralling speech. It was really a speech. I said, we're 18 points down, and they're really not 18 points better than us. And the fellows were pretty much pushing me out the locker room door. It was really not any words that were said. It was a feeling of confidence. We hadn't played well. We could play better, and they really just wanted me out of the way.
Texas A&M. I mean, hey, we were all there together. I'll probably been behind Chris chasing him, pushing him down the field against the end zone.
I'd have to say my most memorable experience is when we beat A&M here at home, 35-34. I think the most memorable thing is that night, you know, being with your teammates and celebrating and having a good time, and every time you looked over to ESPN on that bottom scroll, they ran that score across the bottom, so it was pretty cool.
Well, what I remember about Southern Miss, the snow game, was, you know, it started out, it was a decent looking day. You know, it seemed like it all of a sudden started snowing.
I guess it was before global warming because it was November and so we were just going to put up the grabs.
Ridley drops to throw. He's going to throw it up in the air. He throws it a mile in the air. A Hail Mary upfield is tipped. Caught!
Special times were special teams. This was a special team. And Chris comes down with the ball.
We got to the point at the end of the game where we needed someone out there to clear off the field for the guy to kick the field goal. Everybody out there trying to clear the field.
Talking to the third time afterwards. Him being involved in the first time I saw snow.
A 24-yard kick is on the way. It's got the distance.
The one that stands out was Todd Hayes, and he addressed the team, and as soon as he spoke, and his last words were, and when we get together in 10 years, everybody buy me a beer. Now let's just go whip their tail. And the women went up and started, the game was over at that time. The other team didn't know the game was over. We had to go play, of course, but as we walked out of the room that night, Todd Hayes brought us together, and victory was ours because of the attitude that came out of that room. I'll never forget that moment.
Snap to Ridley. Give Jackson. But the kid's still on his side. Goodbye. Touchdown. It's a walk into the end zone for Jackson. Now he sprints back. Gives the pivot. Runs left. He's down to the 5. He's near the end zone. Fumbles the football in the end zone. Touchdown return. A major break for the Hurricanes as Dennis Hickey comes up with a fumble. Double tight end rush. Run short side Jackson. Inside look. Touchdown. Jackson barrels into the end zone. Ridley rolls the right. Gives to Jackson. Big hole right. He's the end zone. Touchdown. It's a trifecta for Jackson. He's got a triple. Give him the hat trick. The snap is perfect. Farad averaging 29. Gets his best kick in the game away. And it goes over the head of the receiver. Dribble back to the 10. Loose ball. Goes. Touchdown return. Ridley again gives to Jackson. He's outside the left. He may score. He does. Touchdown. Ron Jackson. He's got 4 of those, baby. And look out. Here comes the Gatorade. Jay Rader just got Gatorade. TULSA will come on the field. Time will expire. This baby's in the record book.
The coolest thing about this team was its brotherhood and how tight they were, and to this day, there's a lot of us that are still close.
The personality of this team was a hunger.
These guys more or less said, this is what our team's going to be. We're going to be resilient. We're going to come back and we're going to play hard.
I think the personality wasn't just a workman's-like team.
I think the personality of the team was us playing as a cohesive group.
Honor team, the 1991 University of Tulsa football team. What a great showing here tonight, huh? All right, we're going to present to you the members of this 91 Freedom Bowl Championship team that is here tonight. And as your name is read, just step forward and be recognized. And we'd like to, if we can, to get through all of this, please hold your applause until we're done with all of these introductions. All right, here we go. As your name is called, just step forward and wave. James Bailey. Mike Beckner. Dan Benson. James Blake. Brandon Brister. Bill Beaner, Jr. Cedric Clark. Cap Crowder. Got a bottle of barbecue with him. Lewis Curtis. Clint Dishman. Marlon Fair. Leroy Franklin. Guy Gaylor. Floyd Good. Shane Goodwin. Mark Covey. Kenny Gunn. Mark Haberfield. Darren Haas. Lamont Head. Philip Holmes. Chris Hewley. Chris Kaiser. Darnell Madison. Mark Matheson. Robbie Mays. Joe Don McAdams. Phil Natowski. Jerry Ostrowski. Chris Penn. Jason Percy. John Peters. David Rader. Roe Reese. J.P. Russell. Will Russell. Broderick Simmons. Aaron Tolman. Brian Thompson. Fallon Waycasey. Mike White. Keith Roller. Mike White. Did I already introduce you? Okay. Mike White again. You only saw half of him the first time. Patrick Williams. Brian Underwood. Ron Jackson. Corey Lax. Dunstan Anderson. And Jeff Ross. They wanted to mention those names as gentlemen who have passed away and no longer with us. Anybody else that I missed on the stage? Let's give a round of applause for the 1991 University of Tulsa football team. Congratulations. Hall of Fame honors team. At this time, we would like you to celebrate with us the individual honorees, the inductees to the Hall of Fame 2013, and first a video on those three people.
I chose to attend TU because of its strong petroleum engineering program.
So I had heard about it when I was in high school in Bartlesville. And that's really the key reason why I came here.
I chose the University of Tulsa for 3 reasons. And the first one certainly is the academic reputation. Back then, Tulsa was the Harvard of the Midwest.
You know, when Coach first approached me playing in the American Legion baseball game in Holdeville, Oklahoma, and I don't know that I knew Coach was going to be there or not. I know we went out to infield. Coach came over after infield and introduced himself and said, Phil, I want you to come play baseball at the University of Tulsa. I want you to be our shortstop in a couple of years. And I'll never forget, he stood there and said, we're going to be playing in the College World Series in 2 years. And of course, that really impressed me.
I was very intrigued by the challenge of building something special at Tulsa. It's the second year of the program, and I love challenges. I love building, creating. Certainly found that later in my coaching career, but that's why I chose Tulsa.
I think back about those days and how much bigger the world was. I grew up in Shawnee, 90 miles from Tulsa, and had only been to Tulsa one time. And so to come up here to visit Coach with the family was my second time to even be in Tulsa. And got up here and got to spend some more time with Coach on campus. Was just really, really impressed.
The soccer program, or playing sports for TU, or we're playing the program, really kind of helped us, or helped me to understand about the teamwork. And also appreciate that the people you work with, because we all have to work together to achieve the same goals. So therefore, really playing sports, that kind of helped me to bring that forward to a real life situation.
My TU experience is very close to my heart. It provided me the opportunity to get an education on and off the field and grow a tremendous amount as a person, and then carry that into my life professionally.
I was a country boy from Shawnee, Oklahoma. Green enough to stick in the ground and grow. Didn't understand the toughness part of it that I think you have to develop to play baseball in college at a very high level. And of course, it may sound a little too much like cliche, but that does prepare you for life now.
Great honor for somebody that I played with to be put into the Hall of Fame. There's several that have been, but Phil is a special friend of mine, and I'm very excited he's going. Nobody more deserving than Phil. Dedicated young man. When we came together, it's just awesome for him to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
He had a rocket for an arm, and he had a real quick bat. He had one little problem. He wasn't watching the ball into his glove, and I figured I could fix that.
What I know about Hoonbui is he was an exciting soccer player. Every time he touched the ball, no one on either team knew what was going to happen. He played with a free style, always smiling, always facial expressions. Just an exciting individual to watch and play with.
I first heard about Hoon when I was a player growing up in this city. I heard how skillful Hoon was and what a technical player he was, and his tremendous work ethic. And so I heard about those things, when I was a player growing up in high school here in Tulsa. So I think it's great that that it's someone that I kind of looked up to and heard about, and now obviously that individual's getting inducted into our Hall of Fame.
Well, I think the thing that made Amy unique, and it's what probably earned her this position into the Hall of Fame, is her competitive nature, her fire that she always brought to the field. And as a player, sometimes it was could be viewed as overboard. I mean, she just had a mentality that was I'm gonna never quit. I'm always gonna win. I'm gonna beat you regardless of what I have to do. Just that competitive nature, and I think that's carried on with her throughout not only her playing career, but through her coaching, and has made her the success that she is right now.
I think as a program, having Amy inducted into the Hall of Fame is huge, just for the fact that we take every recruit by the Hall of Fame. We show them Frank Velez, we show them Kevin King. We talk about the teams that those guys were on that were inducted into the Hall of Fame, and we tell every recruit, you know, that we don't have a women's soccer player up there yet, but that's the goal. And so every recruit, I think, has that in the back of their mind, that there's that possibility. Now it's more of a reality.
Most of us have never met many Vietnamese soccer players or Vietnamese individuals at all. And so here's our first exposure to someone from Vietnam. We have no idea what to expect. And the most friendliest person probably in the entire that I've ever played with in soccer. Probably the most exciting player I've ever played with in soccer too.
Phil, like I said, is one of my best friends, but if you ever needed being picked up, he was there to do it. He might make mistakes, as we all did, but he was a teammate. You know, I think that's the most important thing. You could count on Phil when the going got tough.
There's one thing I do want to say. I want to thank Phil for all the hard work, all the hours that he put in. He had rubber tires, he ran the stadium stairs, he ran extra sprints, he took extra cuts, and just like the other kids did. But I'm proud for Phil. He certainly deserves the honor, and he was a great ball player for this university.
If I had one word to describe Hoonbury, it'd be exciting. Because every minute of the day when he was on that field and off the day, he was smiling, and he was like a child sometimes, because he'd see something with bright eyes, and he'd just get excited. And then his reaction would be exciting. And so exciting is the only thing I can think of.
Well, I think Amy's, the word that comes to mind for me when she played for me at Tulsa was she was really the franchise. I mean, I know that's kind of a funny word to use, but she was that key player for us. Everything was built around Amy at the time, and I think as she's gone on and left her mark not only at Tulsa but in the women's game after that, that one kind of comes to mind, you know, that she was that franchise player for us.
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is congratulations to Phil for being inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's a great honor. I know all of us that played with him, you couldn't have found a better guy to do that. But I still go back, and I had a guy, Wayne Combs, interview me one time about baseball here, and I said, you know, we were just a bunch of old ball players that wanted to play ball. That's all we wanted to do. We got a chance to come and get an education, which was great, but, you know, Phil was just one of those guys that we hit it right off the bat. We're still good friends to this day, some 40-some years later. So I'm congratulating him for being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I think it's great.
Hoon, I would just like to say, first of all, congratulations on just an unbelievable award. I mean, being inducted into Hall of Fame. We've had so many superb athletes come through this university.
And congratulations, Hoonbury. We are honored to be your teammates. I appreciate all you've done for our program over the years. Your name will always be remembered at TU as a Golden Hurricane, as a phenomenal soccer player. So thank you, Hoon, for being our teammate.
Congratulations, Amy, for this well-deserved honor. I truly believe that there's nobody in the program that has done as much as you have as a player and as a coach. But I truly want to say congrats.
It's just a really proud moment. I think as we all get older as coaches and we start to see the success that our players have beyond our time there, it just makes you feel like a proud parent, you know, that you've got somebody that you've had a little bit of an influence in their life, and hopefully a small part of her getting into this Hall of Fame. Amy, congratulations. We're really proud of you.
And now please welcome to the stage Hall of Fame inductees Hoon Bowie, Amy Edwards, and Phil HONEYCUTT. new University of Tulsa Hall of Fame inductee, Hoon Bowie.
Thank you very much. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the University of Tulsa provide me a chance to play varsity soccer during my studying petroleum engineering. Also allow me to obtain a degree and now induct me to Hall of Fame. This is beyond my dream. I'm very grateful, very delighted to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. This is a tremendous achievement for me because I have seen many Hall of Famers have been inducted to TU, and there are many more going to be inducted tonight, as you can see, and there are going to be many more in the future. However, my success at TU cannot be ignored by the people that I was involved with. So I'd like to thank my soccer coach, Walter Snow, who is unable to be here tonight. He was a fantastic coach, mentoring, provide a lot of guidance to mold me, to shape me into a different player that elevate my playing level to a better competition. So I want to thank you, Coach Walter Snow, for this effort that helped me to become a better player. And again, I cannot thank enough to all my teammates that I played back in the old days. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here today. So believe me, you guys are fantastic. A bunch of groups, good friends, good teamwork. I really appreciate for all the time we got together and we all achieved the same goals. So therefore, before I walk away from here, there's a few people in the audience I want to say special thanks. I have Mr. Jim Reed, and also Lorraine Reynolds and Mr. Phil Lorenz. Those are the people who are associated with a church group in Baldwinsville, Oklahoma in 1975. This group and a few more sponsored my family at the refugee camp. Because of them, that's why we settled in Oklahoma, and because of them, TULSA was out. It's in my radar screen. So thank you very much to help us to settle in Oklahoma. There is a friend that I haven't seen him in 30 years, and I just reconnected with him about 6 months ago. That's Randy Corley. Randy and I, we grew up in high school. We played together in high school, and he has believed in me. So we had a lot of good times, won many games. It's a fantastic friendship I have. So thank you for being with me this long. Thank you, Randy. And before I walk away from here, there are two more things I want to say. My mom and dad are here with me today. They made thank you for your support, and they made many trips from Baldwinsville to Tulsa, Scally Stadium. That's the name we called it in the past. And I remember very well, some of the games we played in late November and early December, it was cold. So they had to bring some blankets to make sure that we keep them warm. So, Mom and Dad, thank you very much. And to close out, I want to thank you, the Tulsa University, to induct me to the Hall of Fame, and I'm so proud to be a Golden Hurricane.
Thank you, Hoon, and congratulations. Our next Hall of Fame inductee, the University of Tulsa, class of 2013, is Amy Edwards.
You know, I've got this speech prepared, but I tell you, this evening has been amazing. It's been more than I've asked for. The 1991 football team brought back incredible memories. Coach Rader, you've always been a coach that I want to aspire to be. That 1991 team inspired our women's soccer team. And so I thought I would be nervous to do this, but it's really become very emotional. And Kyle, I want to thank you for the hospitality last weekend. Our Gonzaga team came here, and Kyle's got an incredible team, and they beat us handily. And I'll tell you, watch out for the women's soccer team this year. But it was really incredible to have my Gonzaga team here and show them my home, show them my foundation. And I thank you for all the hospitality. I wish you'd only beaten us 1-0, Kyle, but that's okay. I'll live with that. I'm going to go ahead and do my speech. I know you kind of limited me to 3 minutes, but there's some people I need to thank. First, I'd like to thank the University of Tulsa. I'm extremely honored and humbled with this award. Recently, I had to write a sport narrative for my sports psychology course, and I'm always about learning, so I'm still taking courses. And I realized my cousin, Jeff Cushing, had an important role in my sports success. He's 5 years older than me, and we turned everything into a competition. And he never let me win. And I thank him for that because it made me a stronger competitor. I want to thank all my youth coaches, but one in particular is with us here tonight, Alex Katerick. Alex played with and coached the Tulsa Roughnecks in the late 70s and early 80s, and in fact, it's the 30th anniversary of the Tulsa Roughnecks League Championship, so that's pretty impressive as well. The Tulsa Roughnecks changed the landscape of soccer in the city of Tulsa. I know that really impacted both our men's and women's programs here at TU. And I believe without them, as role models, I would not be where I am here today in the sport of soccer. Alex was an ultimate professional and taught me the finer details of the game of soccer and certainly prepared me for my success at TU. I'd also like to thank Bruce Palmbaum for recruiting me to TU, as well as all my coaches at Tulsa. Randy Waldrum, Tom McIntosh, who's the men's soccer coach here today, Mark Cohn, Felix Oscom, and Tom Brown. I could not have asked for better coaches who challenged me, supported me, and made me a better soccer player, but most importantly, a better person. And I certainly realize now as I've gotten a lot older. A big thank you to Sydney Ringer, who's also here tonight. Sydney was our athletic trainer, and I appreciate her for keeping me healthy. And I was not always easy or fun to deal with, and I appreciate that, Sid. I also want to thank Sid for her loyalty and support and guidance in my early coaching career here at TU. And I'd like to thank all of my teammates. In particular, I've got Karen Horseman, Amy Urshan, and Karen Ham, which is a surprise to have them here this evening. They're always loyal and talented individuals who came together on the soccer field to build this program to national attention. I have lifelong friendships that continue to be positive influences on my life today, as evidenced by their appearance here tonight. I want to thank former athletic director Judy McLeod for taking a chance on me and providing me my first head coaching job at TU at the age of 25. I'm truly grateful for the trust and belief in me. Tulsa is a special place with special people. And as I was writing this speech, something really interesting came to fruition. And I realized that at every step of my coaching career, there's been a Tulsa connection on my coaching staff. I left Tulsa in 1999 to work alongside my former coach and mentor, Randy Waldrum, who was the head coach at Notre Dame. I then worked with my former teammate, Stacy Welp, who was the head coach at Fresno State. Next, I went on to work with former TU men's player Brian Blitz, who's the head coach at University of Missouri. And now I'm super fortunate to have Derek Pittman, former men's TU goalkeeper on my staff for the past 4 seasons at Gonzaga. I'm the coach I am today because of so many great influential TU alumni. Last but most importantly, I want to thank my mother Kathy and my father Len for their unwavering support and guidance. You can't choose your parents, and I got really lucky. And I also want to thank my sister Stephanie and her family for sharing this evening with us tonight. And once again, thank you very much for this incredible honor. Could not be more proud and more humbled. And absolutely one of the best nights of my life. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy, and congratulations. And now our final inductee from baseball, Phil Honeycutt.
Wow. It's so much easier to play against Texas and UCLA and USC. This is hard. There's a pool in the back, and is he going to cry or not? I didn't put $10 in that I would. There's so many people to thank. So many good friends are here tonight. I thank the University of Tulsa for a wonderful opportunity to allow me to get a great education at a great facility. Dr. Upham, Derek, I certainly want you to know how much I appreciate and honored by this night. Coach Hill, how this guy did some of what he did, it's just kind of magical. I'm as serious as I can be. He told me in Holdenville, Oklahoma, we're going to be playing for a national championship in 2 years. I was impressed by that. I didn't know what a national championship was. But 2 years later, we were playing for a national championship. And he took a bunch of great guys that nobody else wanted and made us into a great team. I wish I could just go down the list and talk about all the guys, but Steve Rogers, Cliff Butcher, great pitchers. Roger Adams, a friend for life. That could just go on and on. And I think about the guys that were even there before us. The guy that Jim Murphy, Jack Cease, and Mike Mars, Kenny Knight, those guys that set the foundation for what we were able to take and build on. So I thank you to all those guys. There's a lot of guys on that team that got noticed, got the praise, got the recognition. But I look back and I remember the guys that got the really clutch hits. Tim Rector, Larry Bird, Richard Stonebreaker, those guys were just class guys that got the big hits. They were gamers. Gamers, that's the word I'd like to put on them. There is one guy I do want to talk about a little bit, a guy named Jay Weinheimer. Jay was the first under 5-foot pitcher to throw over 100 miles an hour. I'm sorry, Jay, I had to do that. I said that because I've talked to a lot of my teammates, and we look back at those times, and I think we learned more from Jay about being a competitor, about the toughness, about what it took to win. Jay was our leader back then, and I don't think we realized at the time because he did it in a very quiet, on the field way, but I think we all want to thank you, Jay. Here's where it gets hard for me. blessed with wonderful parents. Listen. Great brother, we spent 1 million hours out in the fields in Potawatomi County playing baseball. 1 million hours. And this is not going to surprise Coach Sheldon. You know, every now and then I threw one away, Coach. You had to go chase it. My family's here tonight, Connie. Connie's mom is here. Thank you for coming, Wanda. My daughter, Chloe, her husband, Simon. Simon returned recently from Afghanistan. And then we have wonderful grandchildren, Aubrey, Justin, Simon. I'm getting in trouble because I call them Boudreaux and Bubba. But I know I've forgotten people that I need to thank. One last thing I might, I'm going to lay that one out. Thanks so much to all of you, all my friends who came out tonight from near and far. I can't.
Thank you, Phil. One final round of applause for our individual inductees, 2013 Hall of Famer, Susan Lewis, Amy Edwards, Phil Honeycutt.